Hello, my name is Enrique Guardado, and this is my W01 project, Contacts Part 1 for CSE 341 Web Services. In this video, I will demonstrate the functionality of my Contacts API that stores and retrieves contact information using Node.js, Express, and MongoDB Atlas. The API is deployed on render and follows MVC architecture with proper security practices. Let me show you the implementation. First, let me show you my GitHub repository. As you can see, the project follows MVC architecture with separate folders for controllers, routes, and data access. The main files are server.js, that is the main entry point that connects everything. Controllers folder contains the business logic. Routes folder defines the API endpoints. Data folder handles the database connection. You can also see the package.json file with all dependencies and the C341.rest file for testing the API endpoints. Notice that the .m file is not visible here, which is correct for security reasons. Now let me show you the security measures implemented in this project. This is the .gitignore file. As you can see, it includes no modules folder to avoid uploading dependencies, .m file to protect sensitive information like database credential, .ds store and npm debug log files. The .m file contains the MongoDB connection string with the database credential. This file is never pushed to GitHub, keeping the credentials secure. In production, these credentials are stored as environment variables in render's configuration, ensuring they remain secure and are not exposed in the codebase. Let me explain the MVC architecture of this application. First, the data folder contains dbconnection.js, which handles the MongoDB connection. It exports an async function that connects to the database and returns the database object. Next, the controllers folder has contacts.js with two main functions. getAllContacts retrieves all contacts from the database. getContactById retrieves a single contact by its ID. Both functions use async await and proper error handling. The routes folder contains contacts.js, which defines two get endpoints. getSlash returns all contacts. getSlashId returns a specific contact by ID. Finally, server.js is the main file that imports and configures Express middleware, connects to the MongoDB before starting the server, mounts the contact routes at contact path, start the server on the configured port. Now let me test the API endpoints locally using the REST client extension in VS Code. First, the root endpoint getSlash returns a welcome message confirming the API is running. Next, getSlash contacts retrieves all contacts from the MongoDB database. As you can see, it returns an array with 3 contacts documents, each containing first name, last name, email, favorite color, birthday, and the MongoDB generated ID. Finally, getSlash_contact/ID retrieves a single contact. I'm using the ID from the first contact, Juan Perez. The API returns only that specific contact with all its fields. All endpoints return proper JSON responses with appropriate HTTP status calls. 200 for success, 400 for invalid ID, 404 for not found, and 500 for server errors. Now let me test the API in production on render. The API has been successfully deployed and is accessible at CSE 341 project contacts f92q.onrender.com. First, the root endpoint on render returns the same welcome message, confirming the server is running in the cloud. Next, get/contact on render retrieves all contacts from the MongoDB Atlas database. The response is identical to the local version, showing that the production environment is working correctly. Finally, get/contact/ID on render returns the specific contact, Juan Perez. The application successfully connects to the MongoDB Atlas from render servers using environment variables configured in the render dashboard. This ensures the database credential remains secure in production. In summary, this W01 project Contacts Part 1 successfully implements 1. A RESTful API with get endpoints to retrieve all contacts and a single contact by ID. 2. MongoDB Atlas integration with proper connection handling and error management. 3. MVC architecture with separated concerns, controller for business logic, routes for endpoints, and data access for database operation. 4. Security best practices with environment variables stored in .env file and excluded from GitHub using .gitignore. 5. Successful deployment to render with environment variables configured in the production environment. The project meets all requirements for week 1 and is ready for week 2. Thank you for watching. The links to GitHub, render, and this video are submitted in Canvas.